There's something off about Ralsei, but no, it's not just his head. Because the deeper you dig, the less sense it makes for him to not be Asriel. But let's start with the easy stuff. The sprite, for instance, if we compare both sprites, we see that both are goats with white fur and horns. What I haven't heard anyone talk about is that they both wear green. Not the same shade, but still. Chris also changes her color when entering the dark world. Why couldn't Asriel do so too? Then there's the more confusing stuff. That only makes sense if Ralsei is not a Darkner, like Darkners turning into stone when they're outside of their own world, because they don't belong. How did he not turn into stone then through the entirety of chapter 2, although Lancer did at the end? Also, in the beginning of chapter 2 we take Lancer with us in our inventory, so he's still there in our inventory when we enter the second dark world, but for some reason Ralsei just spawns in. Kind of like he just followed us, the player, out of the dark world. Now you might think, Kiriko, how is he supposed to be in the dark world if he's at university? And to that I say, do you remember what happened when we entered the dark world in chapter 1? After we entered through the closet and then were in the abandoned classroom. So there's probably multiple ways to get in and out of the dark worlds. Is it really that impossible that Asriel might have just entered the dark world in his university and then just left through the closet? Ralsei also acts like our guide in the game, who tells us what to do, while Flowey, who's also Asriel, also tells us what to do in Undertale constantly, in his case genocide, while Ralsei wants us to do a completely different thing, harm nobody. He wants us to gather everyone in one place. And what happened when we did that in Undertale? Flowey appeared and stole everybody's soul. And those are not the only things that support the theory that Ralsei is Asriel. There's more, a lot more. I mean, he told us about the prophecy, you know? The one only he seems to know about? Also, the prophecy isn't just a made-up lie. Who told him? The prince is alone in his kingdom, no folks, no parents? Why'd never anyone question why he's a prince if he has no father? That would make him the king. Do you know who else is a prince though? Asriel. Asriel also was able to talk to the player directly, just like Ralsei. At the end of chapter 2, Ralsei tells us to save and take a break whenever we want, although nobody in the game seems to know that we can see the save stars. He seems to know that we're controlling Chris, but why would he be fine with that? And now we come to the part of the theory where it is kind of a stretch. What if Asriel summoned us into this world to collect darkness so he can absorb all of them? It would explain why he is so friendly to us, and why he doesn't want us to kill them. He needs their souls. But then I ran into another hole in my theory. Why? Why does Asriel want to have infinite power again? And I think I can answer that with another what if. What if Asriel wants revenge on his parents? I mean, the big bad of every chapter seems to be a stand-in for the parent of one of our party members. Chapter 1 being a deadbeat emotional manipulator in the form of the Shadow King, and a overprotective mother in case of chapter 2. Problems with parents seems to be a recurring theme. We know that Asriel is probably older than us since he's in university, but our parents are separated too. Could it be that their breakup was very traumatizing on Asriel? It would just make a lot of sense. Toriel definitely seems to despise Asgore, because if you get flowers from Asgore after the end of chapter 1 and give them to Toriel, she will take care of them, so she'll probably throw them out. She seems to hate Asgore from the bottom of her heart. All of this would explain what Asriel is doing as Ralsei and why he's doing it. Asriel is trying to make you bring enough darkness to his castle so he can absorb all of them and take revenge on his parents for making the earlier parts of his life a living hell. Hey, so you made it through the entire video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why don't press the silly button beneath the video and subscribe, and while you're there leave a like and tell me your opinion about this theory. Before I let you off though, this theory is just a theory. I know that a lot of things in this video were speculations. Hell, I wouldn't even want Asriel to be Ralsei, but there's just so much evidence that I have seen nobody talk about that I decided to make this video. But even if Ralsei is not Asriel, he's still as real as it gets.